Someone told him he didn't belong. He was a farmer, a tractor builder, a man with grease under his fingernails who had the nerve to buy a Ferrari. And when he told the most powerful man in the car world that something was wrong with his product, that man laughed at him. He told him to go back to his tractors, to stay in his lane, to know his place. That conversation lasted less than 5 minutes. What happened next took 12 years, and it produced one of the most recognized symbols of success, speed, and defiance in human history. His name was Ferruccio Lamborghini, and this is the story of what happens when you turn an insult into an empire. 7 chapters. 1 emotion. Spite has never built anything this beautiful. Chapter the Farmer. It is 1916. You are born in a small village called Renazzo in the Po Valley of northern Italy. Your father is a grape farmer. Your family has worked this land for generations. You are supposed to do the same. Tend the grapes. Marry locally. Live small. Instead, from the age of 6, you take apart every piece of machinery on the farm. Engines fascinate you. Not because of speed, because of the logic. Every piece has a reason. You study technical subjects wherever you can. Engines, mechanics, metallurgy. Then the war comes. It is 1940. You are 24 years old. The Italian military assigns you to roads as a vehicle maintenance mechanic. For 4 years, you repair every broken machine the military sends you. Trucks, jeeps, motorcycles, weapons systems. You become one of the best mechanical problem solvers in your unit. You can diagnose an engine problem by listening to it. When the war ends in 1945, you return to Renazzo with nothing but the skills in your hands. You have no money, no connections, no family wealth. You have exactly one thing. You know how engines work. You buy a broken-down Fiat Topolino for almost nothing. You rebuild it completely from scrap military parts. You sell it for a profit. You buy 2 more broken cars. You rebuild them both. You sell them for more profit. In 1946, you found Lamborghini Trattori, a company that builds tractors. The timing is perfect. Post-war Italy is rebuilding its farms. Every farmer in the Po Valley needs mechanized equipment they cannot afford to buy from established brands. Your tractors are built from surplus military parts. They are cheap. They are reliable. They are exactly what Italy needs right now. Within 5 years, Lamborghini Trattori is one of the most successful tractor manufacturers in Italy. You are 35 years old and you're a millionaire. From nothing. In a destroyed country. In less than 10 years, you buy a Ferrari, not to show off. Because you have loved beautiful machines your entire life and you have finally earned the right to own one. This is where most stories end. Farmer becomes millionaire, buys the car, lives happily. The end. But there is a problem with the Ferrari. A specific problem. One that will change everything. Would you have stopped here? A millionaire with a Ferrari at 35? Most people would never leave this level. Chapter the Insult. It is 1962. You own multiple Ferraris now. You love them. You also keep breaking the clutch. Every Ferrari you own has the same problem. The clutch wears out too fast. It is designed for racing, not for road driving. You are a mechanical engineer. You have been fixing machines your entire life. You know exactly what is wrong and exactly how to fix it. So you do what any reasonable person would do. You go to Maranello. You go to the factory. You ask to speak to Enzo Ferrari himself. You get the meeting. You are a significant customer. You own multiple cars. Enzo agrees to see you. You explain the problem clearly. Engineer to engineer. The clutch is wrong. You tell him you have the same clutch in your tractors, and it works perfectly. Enzo Ferrari looks at you. He is 64 years old. He has built the most famous racing cars in the world. He is a god in Italy. He tells you that a tractor maker has no business telling Ferrari how to build a sports car. He tells you the problem is with the driver, not the car. He tells you to go back to your tractors. The meeting is over. You drive home in your Ferrari. The Ferrari that has the clutch problem. The problem you just tried to solve and were laughed out of the room for. Most people in your position would feel embarrassed. would let it go, would focus on the tractors. You feel something different, not embarrassment, clarity. You think, if I can build an engine that works in a field for 16 hours a day for 30 years, I can build a car that is better than this. The man who told you to know your place just made the most expensive mistake of his life. Has anyone ever dismissed you like that? Told you to stay in your lane? Do you know what you did with that feeling? Chapter the garage. You go home and you do not sleep. You spend the next 6 months doing 2 things: running your tractor company during the day, and at night, designing a sports car. Not a car that looks like a Ferrari. A car that is better than a Ferrari in every measurable way. You hire Giotto Bizzarini, the engineer who designed the Ferrari 250 GTO engine. Ferrari fired him. You hire him immediately. You hire Gianpaolo Dallara, 25 years old. The best suspension engineer in Italy. Nobody else was hiring him. You were. You hire Paolo Stanzani, another brilliant engineer Ferrari didn't appreciate. You are building a team from Ferrari's mistakes. In 1963, you found Automobili Lamborghini. You build a factory in Sant'Agata Bolognese, 12 kilometers from Maranello, 12 kilometers from Ferrari, 12 kilometers, close enough that Enzo Ferrari can see the smoke from your chimney on a clear day. You tell your engineers one thing: I want the best grand touring car in the world, not the fastest on a track, the best on a road. The engine Bizzarini designs is a masterpiece. A V12, 3.5 liters, 270 horsepower. Ferrari's comparable car makes 240 horsepower. Your engine, on your first attempt, is already more powerful. In October 1963, less than 1 year after you decided to do this, you unveil the Lamborghini 350 GT prototype at the Turin Motor Show. The automotive press is stunned. This is not a joke. This is not a rich man's vanity project. This is a real car. You stand in the corner of the show watching people react to what you built in 12 months. By 1964, you are selling the 350 GT. Journalists say the ride is smoother than the Ferrari equivalent. The engine is more refined. Ferrari is selling more cars. But Lamborghini is winning every comparison test. You have been in the car business for 2 years. Ferrari has been doing it for 17. 2 years versus 17. Think about what that means for something you want to build. Chapter the rival. It is 1965. Your engineers come to you with an idea. Not a grand touring car. Something completely different. A mid-engine sports car. Engine behind the driver. In front of the rear axle. No road car has ever been built this way. This is how race cars are built. Pure race car engineering. For the road. Dallara is 26 years old. He presents you the concept over a weekend. He did it unofficially. Without authorization. Just because he believed in it. Most bosses would have told him to stick to his assigned work. You look at it for 60 seconds and say yes. Build it. The project is called P400. Internal name, Miura. Named after a fighting bull from a Spanish breeder. You show the bare chassis at the Turin Motor Show in 1965. No body. No engine. Just the frame. The reaction is enormous. People want to know when it will be finished. You do not have a body yet. You do not have a delivery date. You call Bertone. The most respected coach builder in Italy. A 27-year-old designer named Marcello Gandini takes the project. Gandini designs the body in 5 months. When you see it for the first time, you say nothing for a long time. It is the most beautiful object you have ever seen. And you built it. March 1966. Geneva Motor Show. The Miura is unveiled to the world. The crowd stops moving. People stand in front of it for 40 minutes without speaking. A journalist writes, "This is the most beautiful car ever built by human hands. The Miura does 170 miles per hour. It is the fastest road car in the world. Nothing comes close. Every Ferrari owner in the world now wants a Lamborghini. Enzo Ferrari sees the Miura. He calls it a spectacular piece of machinery. He does not mention the tractor maker. You are 49 years old. You told Enzo Ferrari you would build a better car. In 3 years, you built the most beautiful car in the world. Would you have believed that was possible? Chapter The Empire. The late 1960s. You are at the center of everything. The Miura appears in the opening sequence of The Italian Job, the most famous movie car scene in cinema history. Every rock star, every film star, every racing driver wants a Lamborghini. The waiting list stretches for 2 years. In 1968, you launch the Espada, a 4-seat grand tourer that is still faster than almost anything on the road. You are making the argument that you do not have to choose between performance and comfort. You can have both. In 1970, you build the Miura S-Fi, an evolution of the original. 385 horsepower, still the most beautiful car in the world. Then, in 1971 at Geneva, a young designer named Gandini does it again. The Countach concept. A car so radical, so angular, so unlike anything in existence that the first reaction from the crowd is a single word in Italian. Countach. In the Piedmontese dialect, it means something like, "My God," or "What the hell is that?" The Countach becomes the car on every teenage boy's bedroom wall for the next 20 years. Your tractors are still selling. Your car company is producing some of the most coveted objects on Earth. You are worth hundreds of millions. You expand. You buy a helicopter company called Elicotteri Meridionali. You build a luxury villa. You are living what every person who was ever told to know their place dreams about. You could have stopped after the tractors. You could have stopped after the insult. You could have stopped after the first car. The peak is only visible to those who keep climbing. What peak are you stopping short of right now? Chapter The Crash. It is 1972. You have worked without stopping for 27 years. You are 56 years old. You decide to sell your shares in Automobili Lamborghini to a Swiss businessman named Georges-Henri Rossetti. Not because you are in trouble, because you want to focus on what you love most: the land, the wine, the quiet. You buy an estate called La Fenele on Lake Trasimeno in Umbria. You plant vines. You make wine. You believe you are leaving the company in good hands. The cars will continue. The name will grow. You have earned your rest. Then October 1973 happens. OPEC declares an oil embargo against countries that supported Israel in the Yom Kippur War. Oil prices rise 400% in 90 days. Nobody wants a car that does 12 miles per gallon when gasoline costs 4 times what it did 3 months ago. Lamborghini orders collapse overnight. From a 2-year waiting list to almost nothing. Rossetti cannot survive the cash shortage. In 1974, he sells half the company to a Swiss-Canadian entrepreneur named René Leimer. In 1975, Lamborghini goes into receivership. The company you built from an insult is bankrupt. You are sitting at your vineyard by the lake when you hear the news. You sold the company before it collapsed. You are financially fine. The tractor company still runs. You still have the estate. But your name is on the gate of a bankrupt factory. Your name is on cars sitting unsold in showrooms. You never return to the car company. You tend your vines. You make wine that people say is exceptional. The company changes hands multiple times through the 1970s. A BMW executive, a group of investors, near death, again and again. In 1981, 2 Americans named Patrick Mimran and Jean-Claude Mimran buy the company for almost nothing, literally for $1 and the assumption of debt. The Mimrans invest seriously. They resurrect production. They launch the Countach into its final and most iconic form. The thing you built is too powerful to die, even without you. That is either the best or the most bittersweet thing a founder can discover. You built something so real that the world refused to let it disappear, even when everyone around it failed it. Could you say that about what you're building? Chapter The Legend. It is 1987. Chrysler acquires Lamborghini, an American company with American money trying to understand an Italian soul. It does not go well. Chrysler has plans. It launches the Diablo in 1990. Stunning car. But Chrysler misunderstands the brand. In 1994, Chrysler sells Lamborghini to an Indonesian group called Megatech. The company continues, but barely. Then in 1998, Audi acquires Lamborghini for $110 million. Volkswagen Group, German engineering, German money, German seriousness. This is the moment that saves Lamborghini forever. Audi does not try to change Lamborghini. It provides the engineering rigor and financial stability to let Lamborghini be more completely itself. In 2001, the Murcielago launches, named after a legendary fighting bull that survived 24 sword strikes in an 1879 corrida. The bull that refused to die. In 2003, the Gallardo launches, a more accessible Lamborghini. More buyers can reach it. The brand explodes into mainstream consciousness. Lamborghini sells 14,022 cars in 2022, a record in the company's history. Lamborghini revenue in 2022, 2.38 billion euros, more than any year in history. The Raging Bull badge that Ferruccio chose because he was a Taurus is now one of the most recognized symbols on Earth. Every rapper mentions it. Every athlete wants one. Every teenager has it on their phone case. Ferruccio Lamborghini dies in 1993. He is 76 years old. He died at his vineyard on Lake Trasimeno. He never returned to the car company after selling his shares. He made wine and tended his land and watched from a distance. He was asked in a late interview if he regretted the confrontation with Ferrari. He said, "I regret that I ever bought one of his cars. His tractor company still exists." Lamborghini Trattori is still making tractors in the Po Valley today. The tractor that paid for the insult is still running. Someone told him he didn't belong. He used that as the entire foundation. Chapter 1. Leave what you are supposed to do before someone has to fire you from it. Chapter 2. The person who dismisses you has just told you exactly what they fear. Build that thing. Chapter 3. Hire the people others underestimated. They have more to prove than anyone. Chapter 4. When a young person on your team comes to you with something unauthorized and brilliant, say yes first and manage the process second. Chapter 5. The peak you think is the final peak never is. There is always a Countach after the Miura. Chapter 6. Knowing when to step back is its own kind of strength. You do not have to be present for the whole story. Chapter 7. Build something real enough that the world refuses to let it die even after you are gone. Right now, somewhere, someone is being told to know their place. They are being laughed at for thinking they can compete with people who have been doing it longer. Somewhere that person is driving home in silence, deciding what to do with what just happened. Ferruccio Lamborghini drove home and started drawing. What are you going to do? 0 to throne. If this story hit you, leave a comment with the chapter that hurt the most. Subscribe. The next empire is coming. You know the feeling. Someone looks at you and decides in 3 seconds that you are not serious, that you do not belong in the room, that you are a curiosity, not a threat. What you do with that feeling in the next 24 hours defines the next 20 years. The Po Valley in the 1940s is one of the poorest regions in Italy. Farmers work land that has been subdivided across generations until each plot is barely large enough to feed a family. You watch other farm boys accept this. You cannot. There is something in you that does not fit the life that was arranged for you. At the military base in Rhodes, you become famous for one thing. You can fix anything. They bring you machines that other mechanics have given up on. You figure them out. When surplus military parts flood the Italian black market after the war, you see something nobody else sees. Not scrap, not waste. Raw material. In 1948, the Italian government offers subsidies for agricultural mechanization. You are perfectly positioned. Your tractors are cheap, your service network is local, and every farmer in northern Italy is your neighbor. By 1960, Lamborghini Trattori is producing around 1,000 tractors per year. You are the third largest tractor manufacturer in Italy. You start buying Ferraris in the late 1950s. Not as trophies, because you love them genuinely and because you want to understand what the best looks like. The specific clutch problem you have is real and documented. Multiple Ferrari owners reported it. Enzo knew about it. He considered it a driver problem, not an engineering problem. You have the technical receipts from repairing the clutch yourself multiple times. You are not a complainer. You are an engineer presenting documented evidence. When Enzo dismisses you, the other people in the room say nothing. They know he is wrong. They also know you do not tell Enzo Ferrari he is wrong. You leave without raising your voice, without making a scene. Quiet fury is more dangerous than visible fury. Quiet fury does not waste energy on the moment. It saves everything for what comes next. The drive home takes 40 minutes. By the time you arrive, you have already made the decision. You do not tell anyone what you are planning. You do not announce it to the press. You do not try to humiliate Enzo publicly. You simply start building. You allocate $5 million from your tractor profits to fund the car project. Your accountants tell you this is reckless. You tell them to process the paperwork. Bizzarini designs the V12 in a hotel room over a long weekend and then takes it back to you for approval. He has not slept. The engine is perfect. You test the engine yourself. You sit in the car. You feel every vibration. You adjust until it meets your standard. Not the market standard, your standard. The factory in Sant'Agata Bolognese employs 180 people by 1965. Many of them are Ferrari trained. Many of them chose to come to you. You tell your workers, we are not trying to make a car that is as good as a Ferrari. We are trying to make a car that makes Ferrari irrelevant. The Miura P400 produces 350 horsepower from its 3.9-liter V12. The Ferrari 275 GTB at it most directly competes with produces 280. The Miura reaches 60 miles per hour in 6.7 seconds. In 1966, this is extraordinary. Formula One cars of the era are only marginally faster. Road and Track magazine says, this is not a car for the faint-hearted. It is for those who want to feel the road completely. Nothing is filtered. Everything is real. Enzo Ferrari's response to the Miura is to immediately begin development of the Ferrari Dino as a mid-engine competitor. Your tractor maker forced him to rethink his entire product direction. You never stop improving. In 1968, the Miura S adds another 20 horsepower. In 1971, the Miura S Vive adds another 15. Every year, the car gets better. Every year, Ferrari works harder to catch up. The press starts calling the area around Modena and Bologna the Motor Valley. Ferrari, Maserati, De Tomaso, Ducati, all within an hour of each other. And now, Lamborghini. In 1969, you launch the Islero, a replacement for the 400 GT, more refined, more mature. The press is mixed. Some say you are losing your edge. You ignore the criticism. You are building a range of cars for different customers. Not everyone wants a car that requires a racing driver's skill. The Jarama arrives in 1970. Wider, shorter, more practical. Still distinctly Lamborghini, but usable in city traffic. You are expanding the definition of what the brand can be. You are also generous. Your factory is known for treating workers well. Good wages, stability. Workers who join Lamborghini tend to stay. In 1971, a racing driver named Bob Wallace on your payroll builds a completely unauthorized race-spec version of the Miura in his spare time. You discover it. You do not fire him. You fund the rest of the project. This is your management philosophy. Passion that exceeds the brief is not insubordination. It is the engine of the company. The oil crisis does not only hurt Lamborghini. Ferrari struggles. Maserati actually goes bankrupt in 1975. The entire supercar industry nearly disappears, but the companies with deeper pockets survive. Ferrari is owned by Fiat by this point. Fiat can absorb the losses. This is the structural vulnerability you created when you sold your shares. The car company had no cushion, no parent, no backstop, just sales revenue. In 1974, workers at the factory stage a strike and seize the factory under Italian labor laws. The combination of no orders and occupied facilities is fatal. The receivers find exactly 9 completed cars in the factory and enough parts for a few more. That is the entire inventory of what was once the most desired car company in the world. You visit the factory once during the receivership. You say nothing publicly. You drive back to the lake. The Diablo launched in 1990 as a masterpiece of a different era. 492 horsepower, 202 miles per hour, the fastest production car in the world at launch. But under Chrysler, the development is awkward. American safety requirements, American corporate thinking applied to an Italian icon. The tension is visible. When Audi takes over, the engineers finally have what they need. Precision manufacturing standards, real quality control, carbon fiber technology. The result is the Murcielago. The Gallardo is important because it sells. 14,022 Gallardos are produced over a decade, more than any previous Lamborghini model by a factor of 5. Today, the Urus SUV makes up roughly half of all Lamborghini sales. A Tractorman's company is now selling the world's most desirable SUV. Ferruccio never drove a Countach, never saw the Diablo, never saw what Audi made of his name. He was at the vineyard. He said once, "I am a peasant who builds cars, not a car maker who has a vineyard." The identity never changed, even when everything else did. His son, Tonino Lamborghini, runs a fashion and lifestyle brand using the family name today. Watches, furniture, clothing. The bull is everywhere. Spite is an underrated fuel. It does not run out. It does not require external validation. It does not need the market to be right. Every time someone told Ferruccio Lamborghini what he could not do, he added it to the engine. The tractor company paid for the car company. The car company paid for the vineyard. The vineyard gave him the life he actually wanted. The whole thing was one long answer to one short insult. Nobody remembers that Enzo Ferrari told a tractor maker to stay in his lane. Everyone remembers the raging bull.